My name is Teresa Lockwood. I reside in Vineland, New Jersey. you know, Look, I only listened to like the first couple of minutes of Frank Ippolito's false sermon already now. Just want to let you know that he does sit there and copy my words and will make a statement that is true that offsets the lie that he initiated in the first place. Okay? Or his initial, I'm sorry, his initial statement, okay? So the thing is that I was going to record um his sermon from last, was it Wednesday or Sunday? I'm trying to remember. Last false sermon that I listened to in regards to him reading um, Romans chapter 7, which he never understood, by the way. He presents his arrogance, by the way, same as the other former false pastor, Russ Sturger, who, because I basically was interpreting things of Paul that, well, nobody in this entire world can do. Um, and yes, I make it very, very simple, by the way. The thing is that he goes on in this arrogance and said, well, presents it like a challenge, as in, well, if you um, cause, saying the passage is very difficult. Okay. To me, it isn't. Okay. I have actually been teaching from this passage for many years, approximately over 15 years. It started in, well, a church who was persecuting me. I started interpreting it. I mean, I never did that before. I mean, I had thoughts about it, insights, okay, spiritual insights to the passage, particularly around the focus of, okay, well, just about all of it for different purposes, but 7, 8, and 9, which is a thing that I say, you should read that collectively as a whole. Actually, you should read all of it collectively as a whole. But for focal points, and then 11, 12, 13, and 14, which it focuses more on the spiritual gifts. Now, I grew up in churches. They never taught any of these things. The only thing that was taught were isolated verses taken out of context about false things of salvation, which falsely misinterpreted. Now, the thing is, I could not interpret. Well, I didn't really venture into the book of Romans as a child, but many other books I have. I only knew the verse that they repetitively took out of context. So one of the main things, if you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart that Jesus Christ, died and rose again. I'm summing this all up. Then you are saved, which is actually not true, by the way. I interpret it rightly. Unknown to other people that I was presented as that of Paul was making a comparison, okay, which was very unusual because I actually heard, my persecutor of Rhema Church, William Clay, make a similar statement, but he was a bit off. And basically he made a statement of your heart being lined up with your mind, which was unusual because my mind was being attacked and condemned and spoken against. It's not about the heart. It's not about the mind. It's about the heart, and which is a deception to attack the mind. And my response is, it says, love the Lord God with all your mind, body, and soul. So, they found opportunity constantly when I gave and shared insight and knowledge as like a gift to people. They attacked me, attacked my knowledge, attacked, my mind and all these other things. And it's like, it was an abomination. It was really, really horrible. This false pastor did the same thing. It was trending. A lot of these false doctrines were trending throughout many of these churches. My tag is itching my back. Hold on. Yep, I'm just going to pull out my tag, or I don't know what to do because it's itching. Okay. I think I folded it out well. It's like sticking out, I guess. So it's kind of poking me. I got to cut that off. So, the thing is that, okay, forget about that, okay? Look, this guy, I'm going to do another part, focusing on the other, um, video. Was more or less, Frank Ippolito throughout the years kept attacking the laws of God, and then, pitting Jesus Christ against the law, and then pretend he teaches it, like he just did. Like, he went through the Ten Commandments, put all these false descriptions on, like, the Ten Commandments, and all his own false ideas, for example, which he basically taught like many years ago, where he basically said, because I corrected him, that of, it says, thou shalt not murder, which was a thing that there's always a conflicting thing in regards to debates, especially against anti-theist atheists. So, where they're like, oh yeah, well, and Muslims, where they're like, oh yeah, your Bible contradicts yourself, because it says thou shalt not kill, and and then they killed all these people or what have you. It's like, no, there's a difference between murder and killing. So he tried to manipulate it, and he brought back. I'm going to do another video on that. He brought back his old false doctrine, falsely claiming that, because I said there's a difference between murder and killing. Okay, I said if you defend yourself from basically either from being murdered, killing those who trying to murder you is not murder. Okay, and so he tried to cover that up last week, and basically still again tried to claim that murder is premeditated killing. No, that's not true. Sorry. So I am going to do another video about that, but the thing is that, so now he's coming up with the whole thing about Paul and his split personality. So, which I basically have been mocked by them before, because I'm grieving, and because I actually have, joy as well. Yes, a person can basically have, these emotions that is all written in our DNA by the design and laws of God. So, yes, I get angry. Yes, I laugh, and I do all these things. And they actually try to claim that anger is a sin, by the way. Now, mind you, in this, you're also going to hear him speaking against himself again, which he continuously does. One week he'll speak all his lies. Then he'll come back the next week, or if it was Wednesday to Sunday, or whatever the case may be, the next time, and then try to speak what was corrected on it. Not only that, the lie that came with that. Okay, and he often tries to sit there and slander me. By the way, using the false doctrines of the Psychiatric Association, and we're going to hear him talk about claiming that Paul in Romans chapter 7, calling Paul having split personality. And he presents, okay, claiming that, usually, which is claiming in the Psychiatric Association, that it basically split personality or multiple personality, called dissociative personality disorder, is usually caused by childhood trauma. Now, many of us have seen the movie Sybil. I have. Okay. The thing is that I actually observed, they actually have online full interviews and viewings of people who claim they have DID, dissociative identity disorder, okay, or multiple personalities or what have you. So they follow these people around or whatever, observing the video, and I just want to let you know that they are full of crap. Okay? So now, just mind you, and I viewed about the most popular ones that were basically put out there as their life was viewed. There's about 5 main ones. that, they made a story out of or whatever, claiming this is like, multiple personality disorder. First of all, I'm going to put this right here. First of all, there's no such thing as multiple personality disorder. Okay? Now, dissociative identity disorder, which they are calling multiple personality disorder, there can be a dissociative identity disorder by the meaning just in its title. Okay? But they put that on top of multiple personalities. They just gave it a different name. Okay? Now, yes, I am, by the way, an expert over the Psychiatric Association. And I will demonstrate throughout time and prove that and prove my insights to humanity. Okay? Even though I have to give basics up front or whatever, I can't go in full detail on every thing that I say in one sitting. It does not happen that way. This video may be like an hour long. I just want to let you know that. So you might have to watch it like in different parts or whatever if anybody watches it. Okay? So I already know this is going to be long. So the thing is that I've actually had a domestic violence group online, and I had a few people come to me trying to promote that they have DID, okay, dissociative identity disorder. And it's like, look, you can, this is the thing, you as in you, like a person, I personally viewed it as this person possibly may actually believe that they do. Okay? So, or convinced by the Psychiatric Association, or just identified something in it and may seem like they do. Which I can understand because I'm encountering and studied and observed a lot of these churches and what they teach, which bring a lot of confusion in people's minds because of their false doctrine, like the one we are about to listen to. Okay? So, the thing is that I do not believe in DID. Everybody has one personality. Okay? The thing is how it was described in some settings. I'm talking about based on personalities, not basically different individual persons. But an expression of a personality, I recall on one person where they observed like a lot of their life, okay, and she was explaining it in these interviews and discussions and things like that. And what she did is took different things that she likes to do and put it in a person. Like, she would sit there and say, yeah, well, this person's name, who is a boy, likes to play basketball. And this person likes to draw. This person likes to cook. I don't know everything that, each one did. So, but I'm giving an example. Okay? So, I don't remember one of them was basketball or what have you. But different things that she did, she put a person on. Now, in every interview, there was a lot of things that I caught them lying. Okay? How can somebody organize all of that? Like, oh my gosh, I'm observing these people and I'm like, are you for real? So apparently the description of this is when a person is claimed to present themselves, that person won't remember that time. Like in the movie Sybil, when they went out maybe I don't remember particular scenes, but I mean, it was a long time. Like they were missing money, and they were, maybe they went to the bar or something like that or whatever, and it was just like they found these receipts or something like that, and they don't remember how they got this. Or other scenes where they would go shopping, and then they were a shopaholic or what have you, and they don't know how they got all these clothes or whatever, maxed out their cards or what have you, because of this so-called, I'm sorry, so-called personality, other personality, alternate. Okay, it's all a lie. Okay, it is very possible, like I said, that like I read a lot on the story of Sybil, not only watching the movie, and there was very practical explanations and indicators where people believed. Now, it doesn't mean because they believed it that it was true, but for a lot, for one thing, I read some on it, so I don't base it on a movie. Movies dramatize things, okay? But the thing is that it was believed that in the woman who played like Sybil in the Sybil, I'm sorry, the person that the story was taken of in regards to who played Sybil. Did I say that right? I'm really confused as to what direction to explain that. Okay, the original person where they got the story from. Okay, in regards to Sybil, there was this refute. Okay, rather, if the psychiatrist put the ideas into their head. Okay, for whatever reason. So I don't want to spend too much time on that. So look, the other thing, we have one personality. Now you have churches like the Pentecostals. Yes, I'm mentally unstable people, by the way. You have to be mentally unstable to actually believe in the false ways and these practices of those who call themselves Pentecostal. Okay. So, the thing is that they claim that multiple personalities are different demons. I have read this in their literature. I have heard this. Okay. I can't particularly remember where. I mean, it's vague. I mean, I have somewhat an idea, but I can't 100% put it, in that place. But anyway, the thing is I've also heard other people talk about it, who were of these churchians who aren't real Christians, who basically try to claim that they're different demons. Okay. So, yeah, so I'm not going to get into that at this point. So, they have a false idea of demons, by the way. So the thing is, so does this guy here, Frank Ippolito. Now, I don't know if it's actually going to record properly. Apparently, I have technical issues on this computer. I've had for quite some time. So this guy is trying to claim that Paul has multiple personalities. Just mind you, he tries to sit there. This is a game of his, okay? And after I basically said I'm not playing games, this is very serious. He still plays his games, but he echoed my words. Oh, it's not a game. And then the other church persecuting me, Raymond Church, Vineland Nazarene Raymond Church, is there and like echoing my words around the same time. Oh, this isn't a game. This is what they're doing. It's really, really, really terrible. These are mentally unstable people. So the thing is that, yeah, I've been slandered by people who are bullying me, by the way. Because I'm sitting there, if I'm smiling or whatever, they sit there and mentally abuse me and harass me. And if I start crying and go off against them mentally abusing me, oh, you have a different personality. Oh, you have, oh, this, or whatever. And it's just like, yeah, what, like Jesus Christ? Like Jesus Christ? Oh, and like a normal people. Normal people. Look, I basically I use all my emotions to the extent of the fullest, by the way. Yes, I do. They're all written in my DNA. There are some people who don't express these emotions normally, like this false pastor here, can't even identify with rightly with their emotions. By the way, yeah, dissociative identity disorder. Identity. Look, dissociative identity disorder is a very broad term. This is my observation. All my insights to all these issues, unless I express what I have observed from other people, okay? But my insights encountering that are all original, okay? And so just letting you know, no, I did not basically get the DID as a broad term from anybody else. That's how I observed it. When I started hearing about DID, dissociative identity disorder, um, just using those words alone could be placed on many things, not that of just particularly to the multiple personality, okay, so-called disorder. Just want to let you know, people only have one personality, okay? I only have one personality. I'm one person, okay? And I never expressed anything different than that, okay? Um, I have expressed all of my emotions. I have expressed many of my gifts and talents, okay? And I am the whole person of my many abilities and blessings that I have given and rebukes, okay? So, I have this person who has basically, he's an abomination, okay? I've actually had nightmares over him all last night. I woke up like 3 times or whatever. I don't really remember them all. Um, I do remember only a small portion where they were making fun of my speech, and saying that I cannot speak because I can't speak right. And because I basically, it was in my dream, basically, basically, I stutter on my words sometimes. I basically, maybe say basically too much. I don't know, they have mocked my speech pattern, making fun of me. I do have TBI, by the way, traumatic brain injury. I've had many head injuries, and I'm being mocked and ridiculed and bullied for it, by the way. So, by mainly this pastor here, I've had nightmares over him last night based on, or was it the night before? I'm trying to think. My hour's a little off, so, my sleeping schedule. So the thing is, he basically has called my children sin, and because I have expressed me grieving over the trauma that these people persecuted and destroyed my family and attacked my children, and because I said I'm grieving over my children, they claimed I was grieving over sin. No, I'm not grieving over sin. My children are not sin, and that's what they were calling my children, sin. So he's coming back with more mockery, by the way. He's basically using my PTSD and trauma, by the way, to torture me. After I basically spoke about not violating the good conscience, he continued to mock that, pretend he's speaking about the conscience while he's sitting there violating my good conscience and psychologically torturing me. So the thing is, I have them and a police officer who's a Catholic and others who basically said, Frank Ippolito, who said basically, oh, I need to be cured from my anger because I expressed anger against their abusing me and bullying me and my pain and suffering. And pretending that, and they're lying as they're slandering me mocking Jesus, mocking me, and claiming that um, Jesus can cure my anger. There's writings in the Bible where Jesus got angry for the same people like them hardening their hearts against God. So, yeah, they keep doing it. He continuously has done this since the beginning. As soon as he expressed all these abuses, by the way, and I confronted him about a year after going to his church and spoke about my domestic violence. He actually used me being a victim of domestic violence and my trauma to psychologically torture me and mentally abuse me from passive-aggressive attacks from his pulpit. Still condemning me as a legalist for basically teaching the laws of God, by the way, and teaching the knowledge of Christ. And he perverts the knowledge of Christ and turns it into, knowing Jesus, a person that he does not know, and refusing the knowledge Jesus taught, while he slandered the knowledge of Jesus for years. And I kept coming to him and basically enlightening him on the things of Christ. And he continuously slandered my character, trying to passively aggressively bully me out of his church because I was a victim of unjust oppression, just like Jesus. And those who basically were oppressed, who Jesus spoke against the oppressors, they made up lies and said, oh, well, Jesus didn't speak against oppression. Oh, yes, he did. But they just keep slandering Jesus, and they are the oppressors. They actually create this false version of Jesus as is evil Jesus. Basically, they serve the Antichrist. They mock that too because of their false, uninsightful false doctrine about that they get from TV or whatever. And I basically said Antichrist is which is opposed to Christ, opposed to the teachings of Christ. And our Bible does record that Antichrist was recorded to be in the world over 2,000 years ago. As they teach about this Antichrist or whatever, that is supposed to be a person that is to come or whatever, they pervert revelations or what have you. Antichrist simply means that of what the false ministers like themselves serve and teach from. So, I need some water. Excuse me. It's the only water to drink, really. I tried all kinds of water. It's the only one I like. But anyway. Alright, so there's the thing. So, I want to like another sip of that. Hold on. Oh. I'll leave it open. Okay. So, anyway, look. First of all, I have no comparison with, what this guy's trying to display or what have you. He's a mental abuser. He's a sadistic woman abuser. He's very disgusting. He mentally abuses his own kids, even scamming them and lying to them. And he messed up his own kids with all this, and just gave up to all these delusions and their false beliefs. Is unbelievable. But so the thing is yeah, I'm going to record him. So he's going to falsely teach these false, I hope this records right. These false, he's claiming that Paul has a split personality. Last week he recorded, he said, um, he pretended, it's difficult to interpret. He can't interpret it, by the way. And then he basically goes on the other end and basically trying to pit Jesus against the law again and condemn law as, which law is religion, and basically, like, rejects the laws of God. Um, so, I'm just going to record this guy. But this guy is very, very ignorant. So, I just want to let you know, the teachings of Paul in Romans chapter 7, I'm going to read it. I'm actually was the one who brought it out to light because of amazing expression in Romans 7, and it's basically the struggle against the sins of the flesh. The thing is, I actually use it against his false teachings, Frank Ippolito's false teachings, when he tried to condemn the mind, which he has altered and changed, and acting like he's, teaching, reading, what is that of the mind. So this is what this is. I use it, and I have posted it actually on a lot of my pages. I've read it because it is a struggle, and I'm going to give just basic examples of that. Now, we can sit there and, like, this guy, Frank Ippolito, is a pathological liar, right? And I have actually rebuked it in regards to, like, you have to seriously make extra effort to lie. That's not even a thing where you have a struggle with. It is not like, say, a person who struggles with, let's say, like lust, like somebody who's like overly sexual, somebody who I don't want to focus on. I'm not focused on that, but I think you get the basis or what have you. They're continuously, like, cheating and having multiple, I was gonna say multiple personalities. Okay, multiple persons. Anyway, so all right, you know what? I'm just gonna, yeah. So the thing is, this is like. Yeah, I want to explain it before I even go. Maybe I should play it first. I don't know. Look, this is basically urges. Okay, let's put it this way: our design of our body, our brain, okay, has laws. Okay, all the time, design by laws. Manifest our physical being expresses reactions to these laws. Okay. So it naturally, okay, like the law that basically, when we are thirsty, okay, we will go and look for water to get something to drink, okay, and I'm basically have a mind like going throughout time. Right now, it's easy to go to the faucet. Back in the day, they have to look for a river or something, a well or such. So, these are laws taking place that are designed in our members. Okay. So the thing is, we have things like, okay, yes, even like that, like sexual attraction, to being drawn to a partner or whatever, to come together, multiply, have babies or what have you. So what happens is sin finds occasion, um, oh, with those laws. Sin is false knowledge. Okay? Let me just throw this in here real quick. Um, he basically makes a statement, and last week he tried to make this claim and tried to blame sin, okay, because he speaks against himself. And this is what he does every time, right? Last week he tried to sit there and claim and title his sermon, Sin is a Liar. You know, I mean, we heard like things like, the devil is a liar, all these things or what have you. And the reality is like, because I am basically calling them a liar. So he's trying to cover that up and blame sin. So he's going to speak against that when I record this. He's going to speak against that and act like, oh, people, they try to blame blame sin or whatever for, okay, let me just record it first. Okay. I'm like, I have my thought in so many things. Like, which one do I want to do first? All right, now he's on this verse, and I'm just going to sit there. Look, I explained these verses years ago. I even explained it to a police officer, Lieutenant Lady Bowers or whatever, sin finding occasion with the law, by the way. And I express it to her as so in the same is in the physical circumstances, so is the same can be seen, such as when somebody forms a group for good, okay? There will be people that come in, I'm sorry, that corrupt that group, okay? And have different motives. I'm not saying the people are sin, but what is happening represents the law and the people that come in and basically corrupt that organization. Okay, so can be found like if somebody basically started their own little church or whatever, okay, and maybe they had good intentions, right? So they build a building. They don't call it the church, maybe. They recognize that the people of the church, and they may have basically that which is of good intention, okay? So people come in, all right, with ill motives, okay? And they mingle, right? And they corrupt that society, okay? So, and basically take on the name of that law, and basically whatever it is basically becomes corrupted. So such is the same as there is Christianity. Christianity is basically that of what is good, that basically comes against evil. So you have a lot of people who takes on the name of Christianity, like this guy, and basically corrupts Christianity, though they cannot directly corrupt Christianity. Like I said before, it is like muddy water, okay? Where if you basically shake up mud and water together, you have like muddy water. But in reality, they do not mix, okay? You could extract the water from the mud, okay? Or if you basically put dirt and water, it looks all dirty, and then it'll settle and it'll separate. You can have water on top, okay? And the dirt on the bottom, so it will separate, okay? So the thing is all right, I'm actually going to do a focal point on here to make it better and like put it together better than I am. But the thing is I can sit there and take like that of the Black Panther Party, okay? So the intentions of the original Black Panther Party, okay, in the 60s, yes, was intended for good for community, strengthen community, protect the community, have good programs for the people of the community. Okay. Among this own, even basically they were against drugs. They wanted to, police their own community and things like that. Then there were people who basically had wrong motives. Okay. They wanted to use it for power, of revenge, of a pride among their own race and things like that. And, they weren't really conforming to the good intention. Okay. So this Black Panther Party basically became corrupted. Of course, there was COINTELPRO and things like that, who basically deliberately wanted to destroy that. Okay, yeah, created by the FBI. Okay, who wanted to destroy that and break all that apart or what have you. And I don't think they actually needed to basically corrupt the people and basically form them together to corrupt that. But, people do that on their own. There's going to be corrupt people and good people, good intentions and want good in society. And then there's people that have desire for basically that of uh well, that's not good. That they're seeking power. It's kind of like the BLM. There's a motive that people want, basically, their culture and their race to, prosper and be independent and and do good for their own people, right? But the thing is, it's being ran by corrupt people who are criminal, who are doing all kinds of bad things and are actually bad for the people. Okay, so of course, like Black Lives Matter, right? So, but what they're calling themselves Black Lives Matter is basically what among a lot of them that are very angry with what they're doing, and there's corruption trying to take control over the people, and they're basically just committing crimes against their own people. Okay, so I've actually expressed the same in expression. I actually didn't use the BLM and the or whatever when I was talking to Lene Bowers. That was like way well before that. This is a number of years ago. And I basically said and warned them the same thing about the Calvary Chapel, the chaplains coming in, who basically were used to persecute me, by the way, who were attacking law, attacking me, calling me a legalist, calling me religious, and all of these things. And basically were criminals such as Calvary Chapel, Raymond Church, these Pentecostals, and all these other things or whatever. And I made them in comparison, in relation, and said, sin finds occasion with the law. Using law enforcement, not particularly police. I know there was corrupt police in the Vineland Police Department. But they were using the churches, which basically is attacking law enforcement inside the police department. The police in the police department are attacking law enforcement more. Sin finds occasion with the law. I taught Lene Bowers this is, I don't know how many years ago. I am thinking around 2008-ish. Okay, that's like a rough estimate. All right. So that's like the span, though, give or take. And I basically told her about all the rules that they were using that is against law enforcement. I said it's against Christianity. She's like, "Oh, I thought that's what Christians believe." I'm like, "No, we do not." And I told her about that of, if they're using rules to sit there and silence victims or what have you. And later down the road, number of years, I was telling her that they are basically being used to silence officers. Okay? And there was a comparison of using that which is in relation to sin finds occasion with the law, in comparison to the false churches in their false indoctrination, which is an attack on law and of justice and Jesus Christ. And within the police department, as spread throughout the nation, by the way, by the will of, well, William Clay and former Chief Cottespotty, who basically was using them to attack law. They make up a lie, everything that comes out of their mouth, and they will bury a victim and witness in a heartbeat. Okay? So there's more to it than that. But, so he tried to use that, took that out of context, still sitting there trying to pit Jesus against the law. Right? Still trying to attack law. Law is religion. Religion is only that which is of laws of justice, which is the opposite of sin, which is the opposite of crime, which is the opposite of wrong. So, they try to lie and play on these things or whatever and try to claim that religion is sin, and then try to claim that, worshiping pagan idols or whatever is religion. Trying to manipulate the situation and saying, well, they tried to start a new religion